and I've got carburetor posts threatening to stick me in the tuchus. Hey there, YouTubers. Me again. I'm going to give you 2 guesses what we're going to do today. And first one don't count. Yep, you guessed it. I don't know how you figured it out, but we're going to put in the radiator. And I'm going to tell you something. This radiator, it is not light. And unlike most cars, it does not go straight in. It goes in at an angle. So you got to kind of muscle this thing in at a funky angle and slide it in these little brackets they got. And then it wants to fall forward and impale itself on your control arms. So, needless to say, you got to kind of get all your ducks in a row, all your pieces, parts, and nuts and bolts ready. So once you get into position, you can, secure it. Otherwise, it tries to run away. Now this one, I left the fan on it. There's another fan that goes on there too. So that just adds a little bit more to the weight of it. So, yeah. I think if I remember right, I had the engine all apart when I took it out. So I basically sat on the engine and pulled it out that way. There's not a whole lot of room in there. So I'm not really sure what we're going to do, but if you'll notice, I put a whole bunch of moving blankets on the nose of the car because I got a funny feeling me and the nose of this car are going to get very intimate. So anyway, enough yapping. Let's get started. I was searching and searching and searching and searching, and I couldn't find the bolts that hold the radiator, the upper radiator supports in. Then I realized I put them in a bag and marked it. Duh. Well, okay. Anyway, we found them. What you might not realize is that these big old bug catchers make darn good nut and bolt holders. So I'm going to take the radiator bolts out that I so cleverly marked and then forgot that I did that. We're going to put them right here because they're going to go in here when I think that's the wrong one. This one goes here. Yep. But as you can see, the radiator is at quite the angle. I think I'm going to glue this bad boy back in there so it doesn't come flying out while I'm doing this. I might find myself sitting on the engine anyway, but because this is gonna be fun, to say the least. I got a little something in the way over there. Okay. So what my plan is, if I can lift it, is to set it here and then set it there, but I'm going to be way off balance. Let's just see how much we're dealing with here. Being as off balance as I'm going to be, I just don't see this. But if I'm sitting on the engine, my butt's going to be in the way, and this is a 2-man job, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't have another man. So, Alright, that's that sort of. Nope, I don't like that at all. That's just asking to booger up the radiator. Now I like it. Definitely a 2-man job. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and put it like this. think if I move these, get this bug catcher out of the way. See if that'll, and maybe we can climb up in here and try to put it in that way, because this was going to go right down the middle of my core. Not a good thing. Uh-oh. Achoo, allergies. Okay. I think, golly, with two people, this would not be that big a deal. But for one person, especially with a guy that's got a jacked up shoulder blade, this is not going to be fun. I actually considered not including the radiator install because I thought, who's going to want to watch me put in a radiator? But now I'm thinking, shoot, everybody's going to want to see this disaster. So, and now my big clompers are in the way. I put this towel here to try to avoid damage. This would have been easier with carburetors on, sure. Okay, so now, if I can get my, I don't even have, golly, Sergeant Carter. I guess I'm standing. There's not going to be any comfort here. Alright. There, now we're up on the A-line. And I've got carburetor posts threatening to stick me in the tuchus. And this has got to go in here. Like so. Of course, it's hanging up on every single wire. And it's also hanging up on something over here. Okay, the control arm is hitting the spout for the hose. Yay, okay. So, you need to kind of come in here. Oh, there we go. At an angle. That's kind of, sort of, a little bit, but not really what I want. Actually, it's kind of it. This might be, what the heck? Yeah, I'm going to have to climb back out of here so I can see, so I can see what's going on down in there. Because it's still not. Great, my foot's stuck. Okay, there we go. Yep, this is fantastic. Okay, woo! That was a great ball of fire. Jeez, easy to. All right. Got these kind of sort of lined up. It's on the radiator. Come on. I think. Well, I'm going to have to get my spectacles because I can't see nothing. Well, I'm not sure these are going to help very much because they're as steamy as my honeymoon night, and I can't see nothing at them. We're going to try. We'll pull them down my face a little bit. And I think I'm seeing... Oh, there we go. A little violence. Definitely a little violence. Fixed it right up. There we go. Look at that. All else fails, hit it. There we go. Alright. Woohoo! There's one. Let's get the other one, which, I dropped on the floor under the direct center of the car. I went ahead and glued this piece in. Oh, I think that worked out rather well. So let's see if we can't get that in there. But this doesn't want to. It's almost like I'm putting pressure on the radiator. I don't think I like it. Can I see anything? Nope. I'm going to need some light. How about some light on the subject here? Okay, not so fun fact. The bolt is too short. That one works. Oh, okay. That one's a little longer. That one just barely makes it through. But okay. They are... Come on. Well, I think that worked. Evidently, there's a little bit of flex to this bracket. Jeepers. Phew! So we'll have to draw that in. The bracket itself is what's flexing. It's like a woman having a baby. After you get it all done, you're like, that wasn't so bad. Nope. Truthfully, that sucked. Did it the only way I figured I could. It still wasn't fun. But it's in. And honestly, this radiator works really, really well. When I had this engine running before, it never, ever, ever got hot. Now, I've still got to try to remember what all these wires go to. I'm pretty sure they're to the fan because there's nothing else over here. So, well, we only have one fan in right now. Let me see if the process of elimination, shall we say. I've got two here. And then I've got one here. That's black, and that's a black. So let's try that. Then I've got another, but that one's kind of far away. That one's over there. Oh, I got one over here. And this one's green, and this one's red. Sure, okay. But we're just going to go with it because it's the same kind of connector. So there we go. I'm going to think that that's done. Now I have to go scour the shop and see if I can find the other fan. Yay. What did I do? Hee-haw. Fan number 2. I cut a notch out of it so it'll fit around the other fan. Make sure I don't have my wires pinched in here. I'm going to get the fan mounted up in here. Not there yet. There we go. Now we're cooking with real butter. Alright. Now, I have a very unique way of doing things here. I've cut 2 holes, put 2 holes in the top of this. Okay? And I'm going to put zip ties through those holes. They go through the radiator, zip tie through the radiator, through the fan, and then through the radiator. And then I have one of those washers in the bottom of an HEI, you know, the one that cushions the coil and the cap. I've got one of those, and that's going to go on the other end, and I'll show you that a little bit more detail in a minute. Put that on the other end. I still got an old one sitting in there from the last time, but anyway. Okay, got my then I'm going to take a regular flat washer. If I can get it out of here. Here we go. You can't really see because I'm in the back side. I'm going to put a flat washer over that. Then I take another zip tie, and I'm going to put the zip tie over that one, and then pull it tight. And that will mount my fan pretty good. Alright, I'm going to bring you over here so you can see that a little better. Now, unfortunately, I only had one of those distributor washers. I think that's ideal, but I've got some other ones I made out of rubber mat that are, that's basically what I'm doing. I just took a rubber mat and cut one of the little nibs off of it, and that seems to be, you know, adequate. So I've got another one. I just put it on here with the washer already on it. It's one of the old ones that I left in there. And again, we take this, put it over it. Oop, wrong way. Zip ties only go on one way, you know. There we go, and then we pull it tight. Now you can go out and buy Radiator zip ties that are made for this, and they got a big flat washer on the end of them. This works out just fine, and when the hood's on it, you can't see it. I mean, I can cut all this off of there, but I just leave it on. I don't care. Because when I put the hood on, you're never going to see it. Now the bottom one is a little bit of a chore. There's only one on the bottom. I could have put 2, I guess, but while we're at it, since we're up here, let's take my wiring, plug in my black wire, and then find my green wire. Green wire, where are you? I'm sorry. Yeah, duh, black wire. Okay, brain fart, black wire, where are you? There we go. Okay, now we'll neaten all this up later. But for right now, everything's wired. I gotta still get that one on the bottom, but you pretty much get the gist of putting these fans in. You gotta make sure they're tight, because if they're not tight, they're gonna vibrate on the radiator, and the fan's gonna work its way through the radiator on you. So you don't want that. Okay? But I'm gonna have to put this car up in the air so that I can get that bottom one. I got a little ahead of myself and started putting the sealer on there before I had the bolts ready. I got the water pump ready because it's brand new and doesn't require any work on my part other than sliding that bad boy on. So I'm just kind of lining this up best I can, and then getting the water pump. I'm going to put some sealant on the back side of the water pump as well, and then put it in place. But let me find the bolts. I got the bolts ready, but I'm going to end up changing them over time because these are these are probably going to be too long at the moment, and that's because we have accessories that are going to drive off of these. So, man, that thing is just, ooh, stuff's sticky. There we go. This thing about sits on the harmonic balancer. I mean, it's super close. I was resting it on the harmonic balancer to get it lined up. She's close. Now I've got alternator brackets. I have no power steering. I took that out. So I think all I have is alternator brackets. Now this used to be a small block car, so my wiring only goes to here. So we're going to have to extend this stuff to go to the alternator over here, which is where the big block families put it. No mice around here, nothing but pure rats. Now these are two much shorter bolts, and I only did that temporarily. Get the water pump on. These are always a pain in the butt. This one doesn't look too bad. It's not very far. This water pump came with all the nipples on it, everything. I think I got it. Yeah, I got it from Summit Racing. And I'll be honest with you, it's a really nice piece. You cannot buy. I should have painted it. It looks nice, but it's not going to look nice long. You cannot buy a short water pump at an auto parts store anymore. I don't understand it at all. Why not? It's just a big block Chevy. They still make them, but evidently all the newer engines came out with longer water pumps. So these short ones are getting rare, but you still can get them through Summit Racing. That's where I got this one, and it really is a nice piece. I probably should have painted it, but I still might. We'll see. Get a little bit of masking and give it a little cleaning up there. Like I said, these might be a little long, so I'm going to go kind of easy on them. We don't need to be driving them through the back of the block. Yeah, see, that one bottomed out. So what we're going to do is going to pull that one back out. This one looks like she tightened up. This one bottomed out. So I either need to find a shorter bolt, but I'm not going to do that just yet because I don't think anything's going over here. So we should. I'll just find a shorter bolt. Now we have entered the realm of what is right for this car and what is going to work on this car. I love this new water pump, but we've got several issues. That being the first one. I gotta know where to hook this thing. Second problem, I gotta know where to hook this thing. I've got room. I've had the long pump on here before. And I'll show you the long pump and how this is all supposed to happen. The problem with the long pump is pulleys. The pulley comes all the way out here and likes to rub on the frame when it's supposed to have a nice short pump and a nice short pulley. But I don't see that happening. This is probably going to have to come back off. Yay. And put the old cruddy looking one back on. Do I want to tackle that today? Yes, because the goop is not set up yet. I wasted my money on a very nice pump. But I think I might be able to reuse this gasket if I get these off of here soon enough. So the other pump's all ready to go. I just have to clean up the mounting surfaces, but that won't take but a minute. There we go. Oh, off center. Okay. That sucks, to be honest with you. I was very happy with this pump. And not happy that I have to take it back off, put the old pretty looking one back on. Of course I didn't paint this one. So, alright. It's going to take me a minute to clean up the back of the other pump. So we'll just get these in place. Let them sit there. All right, let's get the other one cleaned up. The reason I had to do that is because this mounts here, and now this mounts here. So that makes it a little easier to do the whole alternator thing. The problem is going to be pulley configuration. I need to see if I can find, this pulley is too big, it hits on the bottom. This pulley is fine, but I have to shim it out about 1.5 inches, which I did buy a piece of aluminum to do that with, but I am going to get online and see if I can buy the correct thing. If not, it looks like we're building a spacer. I did build a spacer before out of, I just put pieces of spacer, I guess you'd call it. I think that's pretty much going to kill it for today. It's getting late. The wife's got, some mulligan stew on the stove and corn on the cob. Some of my favorite food. So anyway, it's late on Sunday and 4:30 in the morning comes early. But I was going to run down what we're going to be up to next. Got the water pump in. It turned out to be a botch job. I got that nice brand new short pump and I can't make it work. Well, I can, but it's going to cost more time and money than it's worth. I can use the long pump, and here's my options if I do that. This is the pulley I had on it, and I had some spacers. Okay, just had regular spacers behind there, but I was always afraid it didn't. But I was always afraid that this pulley was eventually going to break because of the spacers behind it. And it looked a little wacky. So I made this, I got this and I was going to make it. Just got to drill the holes. Okay? So if I drill the mounting holes, then they're just through holes. Right? I'm just going to use a longer bolt to go through it. So I'm just going to basically put this on here, trace it out, put my bolt holes in, and that should work just fine. Or I can use this pulley and get out my trusty saw and cut this big pulley off of here. It's a press-fitted pulley anyway. It's separate from the other two. So I thought I could just cut this pulley off because this big one hits. It hits the frame on the Corvette. But if I could cut this off of here, this would be ideal. So do I make this one, do I cut this one, or do I simply put a spacer on this one? Throw it in the comments, because I'm not sure which way I want to go. I only need this. I only need the single belt, so I don't really need that big fancy one. Not big on chrome, because I've heard chrome pulleys tend to slip. The belts slip on them. Of course, there's not really any chrome in the middle, but and you can rough that up easy enough. So, but I could cut this off and be real purty, you know. Who's going to see it? Who's way down, you know. So anyway, what do you think I should do? Do you think I should build that spacer? The only thing with this is, even though it's aluminum, it's quality aluminum, and it ain't light, you know. And I will have to drill this big hole through the middle. That's not a big deal either, just for the bolt. So I don't know. I'm leaning towards this because it's just drilling a few holes in aluminum, which is not hard. But getting out the old porta-band and ripping through this thing ain't going to be no big deal either. Just, you know, I don't know. You tell me. Haven't decided what I'm going to do yet, but we've got the water pump in, we got the radiator in. That's a big win for today. I didn't plan on doing a whole video on putting a radiator in and a water pump, but it took a while. So I'm going to put everything back away, get this thing closed back up, put it back up in the air so I can drive underneath it. Call it a day. So do me a favor. Subscribe. If you like the video, hit the like button. Tell your friends, that's the biggie, because that's how word gets out. And yeah, that's pretty much it. See ya!